And now we've got our guest on the line, Ed Butowsky. He is a very famous, I guess you'd call him wealth manager, wealth advisor, financial investment advisor, kind of all that stuff. Fox Business Network commentator. And he's also the guy who had a lot to do with breaking the Seth Rich murder investigation. And then all the fake news came along, and they said terrible things about him, and he's suing them all now and going after them, which I think is great. And he's an all-around good guy. He's not just a guest, because I flew to Dallas, actually on his dime. He flew me to Dallas like a year and a half ago to meet with him at his beautiful offices. They're in this all-glass building in Dallas overlooking the whole town, beautiful building. And we were talking about some business opportunities together, and I got a chance to meet him and spent the day in Dallas with Ed Butowsky. So I thought of him when I saw him in the news for the Seth Rich case. Then I saw him in the news suing all these fake media for lying and slandering him with the Seth Rich case. I said, I got to get him on my Newsmax TV show, on my USA radio show. And you're now on both. You're on national radio and national TV. You're on in Dallas, by the way, because our flagship station in Dallas is KBDT for Big Dallas Talk. So you're on in Dallas, you're on nationwide radio, and you're on national TV to 50 million homes. So Ed Butowsky, welcome to Wayne Root Show.
Well, what a great introduction. Thank you. And I just trust the media like you just trust the government. And I'll tell you, I didn't know that that gold depository was looking for someone. I think they missed my number, but what a great commercial you did there. So, but Wayne, all kidding aside, thank you very much for having me on, because I am suing anybody who defamed me. I'm standing up and I'm saying, you know what, I've had enough of this nonsense. And I look forward to kind of diving into it with you and how I got there.
All right, so let's start with Seth Rich and the whole case. How did you get involved in the Seth Rich case? And everyone out there knows my opinion. I believe he was murdered. I've said it on TV many times. I wrote a column in the newspapers about it. It got picked up all over the country. He was murdered. And he was murdered because he's the guy that gave all the DNC files to Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. I believe. That's my guess. But it seems obvious to me they got murdered for no money, no jewelry. They just killed him for no reason, and no one seems to be interested in finding the killer. And it sure seems to me to point to leading Democrats, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the DNC, the Clintons, Hillary Clinton, all the above, Donna Brazile, all the above seem mixed up in this. They all had a motive to kill this guy, Seth Rich, if he's the guy that gave the DNC files and ruined Hillary's campaign to WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. Now it comes out today, James Comey issued a stand-down order on an imminent deal with Julian Assange to reveal who leaked that stuff, and it was not Russia. So therefore, it must be Seth Rich, and therefore someone must have wanted retribution. And James Comey is doing the bidding of the Clintons as sure as I'm sitting here. He's been on their payroll on and off his whole life, I'll say allegedly, and this guy's doing their bidding, and he killed this case. So I think it's the dirtiest murder case ever. Let's see what you say.
Well, let me say how I got involved with this, and I'm not going to use the person's name, but somebody had come back from London with some information that they wanted shared with Joel and Mary Rich. That's the parents of Seth Rich.
Okay.
She said to me, I can't do this for a variety of reasons. She's a friend of mine. I said, I'll do it for you. It was a private thing, no one to know, and the information was that her kids, not just Seth, but Aaron and Seth were the ones who downloaded the emails from the DNC server. This information came from London, so you can guess where it came from,
yes.
Wayne.
Yes.
And Mr. and Mrs. Rich, I told them this on December 17th at 3:01 p.m., 2016. I told them this, and they said, Ed, we know that. We just want to know who murdered our son. This was not a surprise. They said, Ed, this has been information that's been out there and so on. You didn't tell us anything we didn't know. Now, I had no idea.
And they're big Democrats, right? The family are big Democrats, correct?
I have no idea who they are. All I knew was that this was a family whose son was murdered. And I just was helping them because they were getting nowhere with the Washington police. When you can see that in the news. I didn't know much about this at all. And then and they said, Mrs. Rich said to me at the end of the first phone call, if you ever learn anything, let me know. Well, I talked to a friend of mine, and Wayne, you and I both know lots of people in the government and in and around the government. And I was talking to someone, and I said, look, if you know anybody, knows anything about this murder, let me know, because I just talked to this family. He said, matter of fact, I know somebody. His name is my God, I can't believe I'm
Julian Assange?
No, not Julian. The writer. It'll come to me in a second.
All right.
And he had the guy give me a call. It'll come back to me in a second because it's already out there. He was a very famous writer. He's about 80 years old. And he said, he called me up and he was talking really, really fast. And I taped the phone call. I had never taped a call before, but my kids had just taught me how to do it on my iPad memo. Okay. And I sent it over to the Rich family and they never said a word to me. And I called them up and I said, I sent that thing to you, was that helpful? And it should have been helpful because anybody can go to a website called debunkingrod.wheelersclaims.com and listen to the whole tape. Okay. And the name will come to me in a moment.
So Rod Wheeler is a personal investigator, a private investigator, right?
Well, let me tell you this. Let me just say how I got there. At the end of the next phone call, or at the end of that phone call, Mrs. Rich said, "Yes, Ed, thank you very much." And I said, "Well, why don't you guys hire a private detective? Because you're never going to get anywhere." I was kind of annoyed, because they didn't say thank you, and I had, done something nice for them. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know these people. And I said, "Well, why don't you hire a private detective?" And Wayne, they said, "We'd love to, but we can't afford one." Mm-hmm. And I threw out this, "I'll pay for it." And you know what? They said, "Thank you." Wayne, I barely know these people. They were supposed to say, "Oh, my God, thank you so much. We could never accept that." End of it, right?
So can I ask you something? Why do you think they weren't more thankful? That's a weird mystery right there.
Well, they said thank you when I offered to pay for the private detective, and I then searched to find a private detective. I had no idea how much money these people, charge. They were like $150 to $200 an hour. Then someone said to me, "Why don't you call Rod Wheeler?" Now, Rod was a private detective, at least that's what I believed he was. He appeared on Fox. Good guy. He got hired by the Rich family. I did not hire Rod Wheeler. Rod Wheeler was hired by the Rich family. I agreed to pay the bill. And as fate would have it, Malia Zimmerman wrote a story along with Rod Wheeler. Now, where did the media come into play here? This is a very strange thing. But unbeknown to anybody in my circle, there's a guy named Wigdor. This is what people miss. And Wayne, just please let me share this, okay? Because it's very important. This guy was the one who represented people against Fox, went against O'Reilly, went against Roger Ailes. He made a living. In fact, he has articles how he made a living going after Fox News.
So he's like the Stormy Daniels lawyer. He's that kind of guy who hates conservatives.
He is exactly like that. And what this guy did, Wayne, is unbelievable. He was trying to – Fox owned 30% of Sky News in London, and Parliament oversees Sky News. They said, "We will not let Fox News buy the other 70% of Sky News until they clean up their act." And meaning all these sex discrimination cases that Wigdor had. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know anything about any of this. But then what Wigdor did was unreal, and that's why this guy will go down in history as one of the slimiest human beings I've ever met in my life.
Just like Stormy Daniels' lawyer.
Well, let me tell you something, Wayne. What this guy did, he made up a story, and the story was to put pressure on Fox News that he...
Hey, Ed, do me a favor. You hear the music, and that means you're going to a break, and I'm going to keep you over. I was planning to do this in one segment and take calls in the last segment, but you are important enough of a guest and great enough story here, and you were on the trail of the Seth Rich murder. Let's hold you over for the next segments. Don't go anywhere. Sit right there. Ed Butowsky, great all-around guy, wealth manager, manages billions of dollars of money in Dallas, Texas, the Big D. We'll be right back. More now. All right, last segment. We can't take more calls tonight. We're just going to get to the bottom of the Seth Rich thing with my great guest, Ed Butowsky, who I consider a very good friend, a good man, financial advisor, wealth manager, manages billions of dollars, Fox Business Network commentator, and a guy who just out of pure goodwill hired a private investigator, or I'm sorry, the family hired him, but he paid for the private investigator, Wheeler, to dig into the Seth Rich mess, and he got in the middle of it all, and he got defamed by the media. Bunch of fake media liars. I do have to mention real quick, if you're going to talk about distrust of government, you got to talk about the Landis Tax Group, the sponsor of this segment of the show, when the Obama IRS tried to destroy me and defame me and ruin my life, and those agents went after me, and the Judicial Watch took my case. Sam Landis beat him, and Judicial Watch proved it was a political persecution, a political witch hunt against Wayne Root because Obama hated my guts. And they proved it, and still nobody got fired, and still no one lost their job, and still no one lost their pension. It's incredible how evil government is. Incredible, especially when Democrats are in charge. But Sam Landis beat him twice. The whole U.S. government and the whole IRS. He did a great job. What a great attorney. Based in Beverly Hills, handles cases in all 50 states, and has handled over 8,500 IRS cases, 8,500. Get a free consultation and find out what he could do for your tax problems, how he can make them go away, and how inexpensive he is, how reasonable he is. You'll be shocked at how inexpensive it is. And while you're talking to an attorney, that means you have client, or I should say attorney-client privilege. Attorney-client privilege. Call the Landis Tax Group, 800. We help you, 800. We help you with the letter U, or 800-934-3578. Thank you, Sam Landis. And any sponsor on this show that you are driving and you're listening or you're watching, you have no time to write it down, just email me, wayneroot@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to give you the information of how you contact the sponsor, the phone number, the website. Just always remember to call Wayne. Contact Wayne. wayneroot@gmail.com, and I'll help you out. All right, let's get back to Ed Butowsky. So sum up this whole story. You got defamed by the media, and you're going after the media. Now, who are you going after? Tell us who you're going after.
I'm going. I can't announce who I'm going after until I go after them. But if you name them, if you can think of any news outlet,
yes,
every single group went out after this guy Wigdor very quickly. Wigdor made up a story that the president of the United States and Vladimir Putin had broken into the DNC server, and in order to distract attention from everybody, the president got a hold of me in Dallas. I've never met the president, never talked to the president, never been anywhere near the president. But according to Wigdor, in order to put pressure on Fox News, he said the president reached out to me and that I got Fox News involved and I did this and I did that and I created and all these lies. And overnight, Wayne, I was on the cover of 377 newspapers with a lie that I did nothing. And the press went with it. And people said horrible things. And I'm going after every one of those pieces of you-know-what.
Good.
And I'm not going to let anybody get away with the crap that they did to me in my life. I mean, my family, the death threats. My son, who was at Vanderbilt, had that, like death threats. They had it on the internet on how many days till he was murdered.
Can you imagine? And this is all because you did a good deed. This is all because you just agreed to pay for a private investigator.
But Wayne, it was because of this guy Wigdor who was trying to extort money from Fox News, and that is what this is all about.
And I'll bet he did, right? They paid out millions, so he made a fortune, right?
Well, he didn't get $60 million. He got something. But this guy Wigdor is an extortionist. He went and got money from Fox News. Let's say
allegedly on my show. Allegedly, he's a bad guy. Allegedly, he did this because you just never know. These people are all crazy.
He is. He's a piece of you know what. I guess I'll say allegedly because. No, you know what? I'm not.
No, say it. Say allegedly. I say allegedly.
You know what? Not allegedly. He is what he is.
Look, I think Obama's the most evil president in the history of America, but I say allegedly. Always allegedly. He sicked the IRS on me and conservatives and Tea Party groups and sicked other government agencies on me, not just the IRS. They're all evil, but I'll say allegedly. Just to keep on the safe side, I do that.
Fine. Allegedly, he did this, okay? But so that's what happened. In terms of Seth, I've got my PhD in a Seth Rich situation, okay?
So give me your sum up. You got about a minute and a half to give me your sum up. What happened to Seth Rich?
Who murdered Seth Rich? But it's not, look, you can put two and two together.
You're certain he was murdered. You don't know who, but you're certain he was murdered, right?
Yeah, I believe the transaction occurred where he sold WikiLeaks. I believe it happened June 23rd, 2016. I believe he got paid $48,115. That's what I was told. And I'm sharing that, not saying that it happened for a fact. It allegedly happened.
Right. Now, look, everybody knows he was murdered. The question is, was it a hit? And I saw a famous forensic class at George Washington University, the most famous CSI class in America, studied the murder, made it their class year's, job.
Yeah, but that was with Berkman, and Berkman is a questionable character.
Yeah, but they came to the conclusion, this class that solved many cases, it was absolutely a hit. It was absolutely, they said, a hit. Yeah. It was not a random murder in the street.
I mean, a 4-year-old can come to that conclusion.
Right. So I'll leave it up to everybody, Ed, to decide for themselves. But it seems to me the likely suspects would be DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Donna Brazile, Podesta, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, the Clinton Foundation. Somebody paid for a hit on Seth Rich. That much is clear. Ed, we got to go. Show's over for the night. We loved having you on. Fox Business Network commentator, financial investment advisor, wealth guru extraordinaire, Ed Butowsky in Dallas, Texas. Great guy. No good deed goes unpunished, unfortunately. He did a good deed for that family. They weren't thankful, and now he gets smeared all over the world. Now he's suing everyone. Good job. Go get him. Ed Butowsky, go get him. Good man. Thank you for all you did. Wayne Alarood, War Now. USA Radio, Newsmax TV. We'll see you tomorrow. All the cops out there, all the vets, all the military. We love you. Be safe. God bless you. See you tomorrow.